in Westlands and in Durham.
Now, there are pitting doctors in Laikipia County, and the county government has now been dragged to the Employment and Labour Relations Court. This even as residents continue to suffer the effects of the doctors' strike, which is now on its 18th day. Our reporter Ibrahim Karanja is at the courts in Nyeri, where the matter will come up, and now joins us live with an update. Ibrahim, good morning. What more do we know?
Well, Michelle, good morning. Indeed, the matter revolving around the health sector in Laikipia County has been listed to come up before the Employment and Labour Relations Court here in Nyeri. Today morning, I looked earlier on at the paper that the court will be using, and it has been listed to come up as matter number 4, and that explains why I'll not be having on set with me the branch secretary of the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Union South Rift Region, Dr. Davji Bimji. He has just a few minutes ago walked into the courtroom because the sessions have started. But Michelle, this particular issue is something that has been going on for 18 days. For 18 days now, residents in Laikipia County have had a raw deal as far as health matters are concerned, given that doctors and dentists and other practitioners under the KMPDU have been on strike. Today being the 18th day. It is a strike that happened 18 days ago after a 14-day strike notice lapsed, a strike notice that was issued to the county government of Laikipia. And up to the date when the strike notice lapsed, there had been no engagement from the county government. Well, at least that is what we were able to report at the onset of this particular strike. There was no engagement, but later on, the county government reached out, and it reached out via going to court to seek injunction to have these particular doctors go back to work. What happened is the Employment and Labour Relations Court issued that injunction, and as a result, the doctors honored the injunction and reported back to work. But immediately after getting back to work, they were confronted with what most say is a shock horse letter as to why they had gone for that particular strike. And as a result, again, the doctors left the health facilities, saying that that was not part of the agreement. We have listened to Laikipia County Governor, the Honorable Nderito Mureithi. He is on record, earlier on speaking to the press, and said that some of the matters that the doctors were raising were, so to speak, invalid. He also mentioned something to do with salaries, which the doctors' union has come out to say that they are not challenging anything to do with salaries, but they are saying that their matters, or what they want addressed, are amongst other things, the implementation of the CBA that was agreed upon by the larger KMPDU nationally. Also, they are talking about resignation. They say that due to being placed in wrong job groups, a number of specialists by that time, when at the onset of this particular strike, the number was about 9 specialists in the county had resigned because actually, according to them, they had been placed at the wrong job groups doing the wrong work. So the resignation of the doctors is among the things that actually angered them and made them take this industrial action. But then again, they also speaking about study leaves. They have been saying that they have faced victimization whenever a specialist goes on study leave in terms of they have not been getting the necessary support from the employer. So that is what today they are expected to bring forth to the court and see whether they'll find solution. And at the end of the day, what matters, Michelle, is that the resident of Laikipia County is actually given what they deserve in terms of healthcare, because now for 18 days now they have all been suffering. Well, I can see the secretary of the branch, Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Union, who is here, Dr. Davji Bimji. Let me engage him very briefly so that he can bring to the fore the matters that they want addressed by the Employment and Labour Relations Court, of course, and what they have received from the county government of Laikipia. And of course, later on, I'll be seeking to engage the county government of Laikipia and get to hear from their side of the story. Daktari, thank you so much. Thank you for excusing yourself from court and coming to talk on KTN News and at least tell our viewers what is happening, because we have viewers from Laikipia County who really want to know what is happening on the health sector from that particular county. Where are we so far?
Okay, basically the union gave Laikipia County a strike notice on the issues that were affecting doctors, basically the issues of promotions, which is stagnation for doctors for a long period of time. Like we have the specialists who are being paid as junior officers in the county. Then we have the issue of study leave. We need doctors to go for postgraduate studies. And then we needed the issue of good working environments so they could have the equipment and the medicines to give the patients. And because, as you know, in the last 6 months, we have around 10 to 15 doctors who have resigned in the county. So the issue has been affecting their working conditions greatly. So once we gave the strike notice, the county maneuvered and took the issue to the courts, which we get a court injunction, which was requesting guys to go to work. Then when guys went to report to work, they're all being victimized by the county. They were given show cause letters, and in such case, guys could not work in such environment. So the strike continues up to date. And recently, I think last week, we saw the governor actually saying that what people need is salary increment, which is not the case. So you see, I think he was misinformed of actually what's happening. And even the issue that he was saying that the doctors are earning 350,000, 500,000 is not actually what's on the paper, because doctors are earning very less amount of that. In fact, we were actually wondering how comes the CEO of a county will not know really what the employees are earning. So based on that, we've come to court to answer, to respond to the case that they brought, of which the court need to give us, need to really command them to give a good working environment for the doctors. Because after that we had a meeting with the county, like on 14th, which was a whole day meeting for reconciliations and negotiation and an agreement. We had a return to work agreement, which the first thing they said that they'll promote all the doctors to job group P, Q and R, those who are due for that. And then they're saying about 12 of them, they will do that. Then they'll pay arrears for those guys who were promoted haphazardly in January. And they release doctors to school in September. That's what they promised. Then on 1 day later, they turned against that. So actually, the Laikipia County government has no interest of the public, of the health public. They're very malicious and they have no interest.
Well. Of course, this is something that I'll bring to Laikipia County government and get to hear from their side. So let's not speak of what their perception of the health sector is. But tell me, because you said there was a court injunction that ordered you guys to go back to work, and we all know that two wrongs don't make a right. Yes, you are ordered to go back to work, and after receiving show cause letters, you left the facilities. Do you think it was right? Don't you think that the best way after getting show cause letter was to seek legal redress in a different way? Still be at work and perhaps go back to court and say that, look, guys, this is what is happening.
And that's what we are presenting at the court today. Yes, and that's why we are at the court. We are still on strike. Yes.
So, what the ordinary Mwananchi in Laikipia wants to know is whether there is a solution. Has the county government approached the doctors aside from the courts? And what is it that you'll be seeking to get today from the Employment and Labour Relations Court?
I've just said that on 14th, we actually had a meeting and a return to work formula, which the county refused to sign after agreeing. So the strike is actually on because of the county, yes. But on our side, we had a return to work formula with the county.
Finally, let's speak about the issue of resignation. Earlier on, at the onset of this particular strike, you said that a number of specialists had resigned. What occasioned that, and what is the state so far?
There's lack of motivation. Just as I said before, we have consultants, so like the gynecologists, the surgeons, who are earning at the job group M, which is actually the entry level of doctors. So they worked in those particular job groups for 10 to 15 years, and any trial to address this issue has been very difficult. So they've got a better positions, better appointment in other counties. For example, the surgeon who was in Nanyuki Hospital went to Nyeri because of the better package that was there. Basically, that's the reason why they've actually left the county.
Okay. Yes. So when is the matter coming up for hearing? It was matter number 4, rather than in how long?
In the next 30 minutes.
Thank you so much. Well, that has been Dr. Bivji Damzi Atela, the branch secretary of the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Union South Rift region. Of course, here he represents the doctors in Laikipia County who fall under his jurisdiction. Today, that particular matter coming up before the Employment and Labour Relations Court here in Nyeri. And of course, what I said earlier, Michelle, is that the resident of Laikipia County wants to see a solution in that health sector, because 18 days now they have not been getting services from doctors. Of course, this impasse between the county government and the doctors having the residents of Laikipia County as the ones who are suffering. Later on, I'll be seeking to move to Nanyuki town and engage the county government and see what their position is on this particular matter. And of course, this is what we will report to our viewers as shall be happening in regards to this particular issue. Michelle.
Many thanks. That is Ibrahim Karanja, live for us from Laikipia County. He will be on our man